Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good day, Illuvium community. How are we doing today? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day so far. Been a rather nice weekend with the IPL 1000 that of course, just happened. And I tell you what, that was absolutely incredible stuff coming out there. I'll talk about it a little bit more in a couple of minutes, but this was probably my favorite event so far, and I'll leave it at that for now. Of course, plenty of stuff also to do here today. I'm going to give you my update on Illuvium 0, how the progress is going, see if we can find a couple of blueprints as per usual. Hopped onto some ranked maybe in a little bit as well, but I also want to go over, of course, the new top teams in the IPL as of right now. Top 5 teams in Illuvium is the plan later on in this one. Kind of our tail of the tape of sorts. And of course, like I was mentioning earlier, any extra time we have, we'll just hop on to rank together and see what we can do. I'm not gonna lie, I have not gotten an opportunity to play since the last stream, so it's I'm overdue for a couple of rounds. But of course, we just did have the IPL 1000. I'll start talking about that. I tell you what, this was pretty incredible. It was the first time that we had the checkmate format in a tournament setting, and to be fair, I didn't know what to expect going into this one. I had seen it being used in Battle Royales before. The first time I had seen it was in an Apex Legends professional event. But I see how it could definitely be used into a auto battler style as well, and it made it extremely exciting all the way through. We've been blessed so far with the pure points format that it's still been very exciting for the most part. For the majority of the events, the tournament was not actually decided until the final, the end of the final game. The problem that does kind of show its face is sometimes during that final game, the tournament can be technically over. Someone could have won long before the actual game is done. And that does kind of take the wind out of the sails a little bit. So I definitely understand why the checkmate format is being used in a lot of different esports now, because I actually really enjoyed it, and I know players some players have a hard time with it, because it is true that in certain aspects it's not like the purest form of competition. But the thing that we have to start understanding now as not just gamers, but we see this in traditional sports as well, where the pure competition isn't enough to keep people in for the most part. The pure competition attracts players and keeps players, but you need more than players to be able to have a sustainable viewing experience or a viewing product. We see this with traditional sports. I know the one that borderlines lack of competitive integrity to me is actually NASCAR, of all things, because that format is just all full of gimmicks and whacked up that there's a lot of times that their champions at the end of the day could have a terrible season and yet still be the champion. That is definitely not where we're at with Checkmate. Checkmates, of course, it does reward players that are consistent, reward the good players and whatnot as well, but it's still entertaining. And as professional players entering these tournaments, people do need to be understanding that it's not just strictly the competition, there is an entertainment aspect to it. And that's why I was so happy yesterday with one player in particular, because technically, if we went straight by points in past tournaments, Slooper would have won yesterday. However, of course, it's the checkmate format. Have to adapt a little bit, and they didn't end up winning yesterday. That ended up going over to Fury Height. But then the interview with Slooper after the fact was incredible. He took it with extreme grace, didn't curse out the format, didn't think they got screwed. Just nope, that's Didn't even really mention it. It's like, if anything, they enjoy it. And I was very, very pleasantly surprised to see how well Slooper took that, and I wish that more people expressed that kind of mindset, because yeah, unfortunately, it's not just purely about the competition. Obviously, the competition is a huge aspect, but you do, again, need a little bit of an entertainment aspect to keep it being sustainable. And Checkmate, I thought, really, really delivered yesterday. The fact that we had 7 of the 8 players that all could have won that tournament yesterday, like, there were so many storylines to it. We nearly had, like, a handful of a handful of people to get their first ever IPL victory could have happened. We had Slicks, of course, who had a fantastic early season in the IPL, kind of fell off. How crazy would it have been to see them come back and have the IPL 1000 be the tournament that they start getting back on top for? That would have been absolutely incredible. And because of the Checkmate format, for example, it was like building storylines throughout the day too. Like, say again with Slicks. In game number 5, they had to win that lobby to get into check for the final game. They did that, and oh my god, the improbable, I think they were like 6th or 7th at the time, they could still win this, and it was entertaining. And I absolutely loved it. I definitely understand not wanting to use it with every single tournament. Overdoing it could very well kind of lose its sparkle, so to speak, lose its new car smell. The honeymoon period would get old very, very quickly. But for these big events, I definitely get it. And between the storylines and then the last fight, the call, being able to cast that one is easily my favorite moment so far casting Illuvium as a whole, and it's up there for probably one of my favorite casts ever. So, I'm definitely ecstatic, and I hope everybody had a great time. Got a bunch of positive feedback as well from the community after the fact, so I definitely thank you all, as per usual. It never gets old, and I am still so deeply grateful that you enjoy, whether it be my videos, my commentary, whatever it happens to be. The support has been absolutely astronomical, and I thank you. In a few moments' time, then, we'll hop on over to our top teams from the IPL, because it's not exactly the same as last week. Had a few different teams show up. I do want to update the video. And go from there. Moment's time. Quickly get this situated. I'll kill the music for it so I can add something in post later. Of course, do this live on stream. It does end up being a video later on down the road as well. Anyone watching it live, you can see it first. But I feel like if you're also watching IPL, none of this will be necessarily a surprise to anybody. But for everybody who's just kind of catching up, it's a good thing, and I've gotten a bunch of comments. I know that necessarily the video doesn't perform very well on my channel, and that's fine, but it doesn't bother me, because I do have people sending me messages after the fact saying, hey, thank you for giving me this. I did not understand how to put teams together. I'm rather new, and this helped me get a baseline. So, for those people, this comes in clutch, I suppose, and I am very, very happy. So we'll do it again here today. Stuff. Breaking my keyboard, apparently. Okay, let's hop on over. Let's get the chroma. Yeah, it's snowing on my. It's snowing green. That can't be healthy. Let's fix that. We do it live, of course. The green screen needs adjusting depending on which shirt I'm wearing, oddly enough. Let's fix that up without sending me to the Shadow Realm. There we go. That's better. Alrighty, so let's do this thing. Okay, so the IPL 1000, of course, just took place last weekend, and we have a bit of a shakeup in terms of what teams are the most popular on the competitive scene and on the ranked ladder. I'm going to go over them for you nice and quick, our top 5 teams from the IPL. Let's take a look here. Number 5 is actually a newcomer to the list. It was not here last week. It is actually a Scion-based composition with Invokers. This is Toxic Invoker. So what a lot of people have been doing is just bunkering up into a corner, loading up on Scions, loading up on Invokers, and just trying to out-sustain any of the fire, any of the rogue, any damage that's coming on through, and just eventually letting your Fistos and your late game invokers really kind of carry these fights, and it becomes nearly an impenetrable wall if you can actually land this. And a big thing that was happening as well with the IPL is that not a lot of these units were really truly contested. The only one that's, I guess, really heavily contested would be the Gnarl, because you want Gnarl onto rogue teams as well, but this team is still very, very effective if you have a Twine. As long as you get that Verdant proc, that is a-okay. And then one thing that I actually did not even set up, I'm going to actually do this live here in just a second, so we'll take a pause here. In the meantime, though, Fox Oracle, hello, welcome, welcome. Hope all is going well. I'd forgotten to set this part up, so I'm going to have to do this live, so bear with me for the moment. Oh, hello, Emberling Rod. We will adjust it. I think last time I had it something like this. Then we chop it up. Not bad. All right, there we go. Perfect. It looks like it fits right in. Can we get weapons on the team planner? That would be that would be a really cool update, actually, so I can be a little bit more precise with this. Like a lot of excuse me, but a lot of people have been basically using the Emberling Rod. So this thing has been getting buffed up quite a bit patch after patch, and by having the Emberling Rod, it lets you get Verdant extremely quickly, it lets you get Toxic extremely quickly, depending on which way you want to use it, and it also lets you get Invoker extremely quickly, allowing you to have some incredible late game damage as this goes on, plus a safety net due to the shield in the late game. With getting 4 invokers, it's the only way you can truly do it without any imprints. So it is definitely a valuable way to go. Can you do this with other Scion weapons? Sure, you could. You just have to go with a different form of affinity. So if you, with the Emberling Rod, you'd end up getting Toxic, you can get Verdant. But I can see a world where maybe you throw this with a Fire Gauntlet, the Fire Scion weapon. You could do that and have Wildfire instead. If you actually want to go down the Wildfire route, try that at your own risk. But you could also then do the Earth route and have this bound to your Sepphoris, and you could then have 3 Granite. That is definitely a possibility. So I'm showing off the Emberling Rod here, but you have a couple of different choices. But the big thing is getting Scion. But the only other thing to mention is that this is a very expensive composition. So a lot of your late game carries here is the Duelef, is the Aphisto. That is 2 tier 5 fully evolved Illuvials. You can still do well without them being fully evolved, but of course you might end up losing Invoker status. Like if you go down here with the Sinolf, that's okay, it's still an Invoker. But if you go down here with the Octius, you're not getting Invoker yet. So you have to find the fully evolved Aphisto to truly get that full Invoker combination going. But even still, 3 Invoker, if you have, say, Sepphoris, the Ranger, plus the Sinolf, you can still get tons and tons of damage and being able to shut down some of these other teams before they really get an opportunity to ramp up. Fire teams are still probably going to be something extremely scary for you, but at least you do have some answers. You have some Earth, you have the Sepphoris, for example, you have Water, There's some water tanks as well, so these fire units aren't supercharging with hyper immediately on you. Because your Twine's going to be a bit problematic in your Blotto against, say, like a Scoriox, for example. But if it's shooting the Axodon or it's shooting the Caradulox, you're actually in a good spot. So even though this is a corner composition, you do have to still worry about some positioning. This isn't just a bunker in the corner, turn my brain off comp. But it is very, very good, and it makes the top 5 here and number 5 here today or this week. Okay, weapon can disappear for just a moment. Number 4. Number 4 returns from last week. This one is going to be the Aegis Toxic style. Aegis Toxic team composition in this instance. Which weapon would you end up going for this one? You got a couple. I think to kind of match what I did last week, it would have been this guy. There we go. So number 4 here for this week is Aegis Toxic. It returns from the list from last week. Similar style, you're just basically trying to turn your Rip Lance into an absolute death machine. Get yourself a nature weapon. The nature fighter weapon is the one I like the best personally, because again, as soon as you get yourself a Riptor, bind your ranger to the Riptor, and you have Berserker, so you can absolutely fire up your Rip Lance later. You can also add on, say, a Greater Monkier to get yourself another Berserker on board, and you will be able to hit like a truck. You got to position your ranger optimally in this instance as well. You can go for, or another way, I guess, you can also do this rather. Kind of cut myself off for just a second. One way you can also do this, if you don't want to go the nature and fighter routes, but you want to go a little bit more heavier into Aegis, if you happen to get Ripple Flail, you can absolutely do that as well. You just have to bind yourself instead to your Archelion, and this will get you Toxic Aegis up to level 3, if I do recall correctly. And then you can turn your Rip Lance into an absolute monster even more so. More all in onto the Aegis, it's more all in onto one unit. But again, if your main composition is just focusing on trying to get Rip Lance to go nuts, whether it be the fighter way with the nature sword to add more Berserker, or going for the tankier option with the Ripple Flail, binding it again to your Archelion to go for multiple Aegis. That is another way you can do it, but you have to position yourself so that all of the buffs are going into that Rip Lance, which sounds simple in theory, but it is actually surprisingly difficult at times, depending on what you're going up against. A couple of other additions, of course, to this team is a Synalph or a Duolef. That is just extra if you hit everything and you're in the late game. Adding on the Duolef is just a very nice choice. You can add on Tsunami as well if you get Flood into this, giving you a little bit of extra sustain, also allowing you to get the double Empath, so you can get a little bit of additional shielding. Definitely one way you can go as well. And bump yourself up to maybe, let's say, the 6 water by bringing... Not a Penguin. I guess you could bring an extra Dive Buddy if you really wanted to, but it's probably not necessary. You could go for Dash, or you could go for Penguin, just to round out your 6. But at the same time, I'm actually lying, because if you're going for the Ripple Flail version, you have your 6. That is the one that would end up doing it. So, Aegis Toxic, making the return here, number 4. Number 3 this week is actually a little bit of a fall from grace. They were first last week. Now, that is a little bit different. Yes, number 3 on the list here for our top teams for this week in the IPL is the Verdant Vanguard squad. This was one that was used a ton last week, with everybody still really trying to get adjusted to the patch, wasn't necessarily ready with the same playstyles, so they were using teams of old. However, there are still a lot of players that are extremely good with Rogue that essentially force this, Butts can get away with a little bit because it's not as contested as it used to be. Nowhere near as often played. And again, your idea is you're just trying to scoop up a bunch of rogues nice and early, get the Verdant Cleaver. That is a must for this composition, unfortunately. So with the Verdant Cleaver constantly getting nerfed over and over and over again, this team will slowly but surely start to like fizzle out. But as of it stands right now, it is still okay. It still does do well, and it can still win you games, especially if the augments fall in your favor. And you can load up your slash in, load up your Malura, which granted Malura a lot of times is seen more so as a, or it's meant to be a tank, of course, but I've seen people start putting Omega Power onto it. I've seen them put damage and like sustain augments onto this thing where the Malura basically becomes a secondary carry to the slash in. But in the best case scenario, it is runaway slashing, basically, as we've seen time and time again over the last couple of patches. And then all these rogues, you get the winks in there as well. You can go up to quinks if you really wanted to, just for a little bit of additional assistance in terms of crowd control. And then the gnarl, of course, is the one holding the line. You get the twine. As soon as you get twine, you're good. But optimally, you find gnarl so it can hold them in place a little bit longer. Verdant puddle right in the middle of the floor. And then when the gnarl finally dies, all of your rogues are kind of converging onto the center, where they are constantly fighting within a verdant puddle of sustainability. So it definitely helps. But again, this is still pretty heavily reliant onto your drone augments as well. You want to find like combat rhythm, for example, get that extra sustain and damage when you get eliminations. Just Omnivamp in general, and you really need to find the right augments. If you get stuck with just tank augments or strictly Omega Power, it could be problematic. Omega Power is still going to be nice for when Ramp Fight comes around, but again, that's in the later game. So if things go your way, this team can still absolutely perform, but it's nowhere near as popular as it used to be. Number 2 for this week returns once again. It is going to be Harbinger Steam. And one thing I'm going to add immediately is you kind of want this guy. So let's see, weapon-wise. I think this is the one I've seen the most played from the week. Something like this. So number 2 for this week in the IPL 1000 was the return of Harbinger Steam. So we have, once again, you get yourself the Aqua Blaster nice and early. In particular, you can do this with other water weapons, but I think the most success was with the Aqua Blaster because you can pair it up with your Axon, give yourself Harbinger extremely early into the game, pick up a Caradulo for a little bit of extra water, pick up a Riptorus. This can be a secondary carry if things go your way, but that's not the focus of your team in this instance. It's all on Umber to be your absolute one dog show here, to be the super carry of the team. It does require, again, you need the right augments. You need drone augments to go your way as well, because this is not anywhere near as effective if you do not hit Omnivamp, at least with one of your drone augments. Something like your combat rhythm, or even just the raw Omnivamp that does come out with one of those augments. Stacking attack speed can sometimes work, but the main thing is you want, at the end of this battle, Umber shines the greatest at the end of a fight. It is a clutch master, basically, here, with Steam constantly giving you buffs every 3 seconds as the battle goes. Buffing you up constantly. If you have combat rhythm and you're getting more damage, and Omnivamp buffing you up, and you just become absolutely unstoppable, and it can be pretty brutal. It is not uncommon nowadays that I see one of these Umbers, for example, basically do 1v6s. Oh shit, you can add weapons too? That we actually can't. This is added on from me, actually. It is one of my own pictures. I just trimmed it up properly so that it fits into the slot. So no, you didn't miss anything. I'm just doing a little bit of production magic back here. But of course, With this as well, you have a couple of options. Duelef is going to be the next best partner because Duelef can help you deal with the front line much, much quicker. But again, does not mind if this battle goes a little bit longer. It is unfortunate that you have to get all the way to Duelef in order to get Steam to make that partnership really work. But it is still a very, very good late game carry and a late game target once you've secured your Umber. Then after that, in terms of anything additional, of course, with the water weapon as well, the Aqua Blaster or your water weapon of choice, you would then have 6 waters. You can add 2 more to give yourself some more, up to maybe 8 water to make it so that that Umber and Duelef and the rest of your squad just hits that much harder. So you can bring on Flood for a little bit of extra healing, for example. We can bring in a penguin, for example, and give your Umber a dive buddy. Like, it's absolutely possible, and you would get the 8 water, and it'd be absolutely incredible. Heck, if you were able early to get lucky, you can find yourself with maybe Axodon, Gyaradulox, or whatnot. I wouldn't roll for them, per se, but if you happen to get them, by all means, that just makes things so much nicer. And then Mamu is here for an additional Harbinger buff. This will let you get up to 3 Harbinger, but near the end of the game, you're going to want to bind yourself to your Singe or your Flare or Seer, whatever you happen to have. That is going to then make your Ranger Steam, so you'll have 2 Steam relatively quickly if you're still waiting on Duelef to show up. And then late game, if you do end up getting lucky with getting Duelef, 3 Steam will be online, which is absolutely brutal. 11% damage amp and energy per second every couple of, or every 3 seconds? Or no, every 8 seconds, rather. Make sure I get that correct there. Every 8 seconds you're getting buffed. That is absolutely brutal. So, this team is very, very good. We saw this a ton, especially early in the IPL Grand Finals. People were actually a little bit reluctant to play any other compositions because they've seen how crazy Umber can be. But it was very, very noticeable that Umber was a must-pick unit or a highly contested unit. So it made it a little bit difficult there for everybody. But of course, that being said, this was still not the best team and the top team in terms of popularity in the IPL 1000 last weekend. And we'll pick that one up here in just a second. Let me hide my, here, pop that down for a second. Set up. Last but not least, to the surprise of absolutely nobody. All right, here we go. Your top team, once again, for the second week in a row here from the IPL 1000 is Arcanite Inferno by a long shot. But it really didn't show its face in the grand finals until like game number 3. Then everybody was trying to push for this. This team right now is just absolutely bonkers. It has flexibility. It has tons and tons and tons and tons of damage. And if this team is left uncontested, it will win the lobby even against water. But the big problem that we are seeing is that a lot of people, of course, know about this. They are going for the Arcanite Inferno build, but they are also realizing they're getting heavily contested doing so. So they're trying to either make spin-offs of this build, or they're playing water instead, expecting that these players are going to be contested. Because I'll tell you what, if it gets to a point where the front line is built, a Scoriox is made, and a Monarch is made as well, it feels like it's Jover. It's basically done at this point here. But, I mean, it is not unbeatable by any means, but it is so tough to take down right now. Especially if you add on some of these additional ones. I only have 6 of the Illuvials up here. You can absolutely add on way more. You need a bit of a beefier front line and you want to have an additional Magma possibly. You can absolutely add the Granite combo of Goliant and Tianti here for the Earth and the Granites. And because you're going for the Boomerang 9 times out of 10, what you want to end up doing is giving this to a Scion. So the obvious one in this instance here is to go and pair it up with, say, your Ace that you end up finding rather early, and you would get Inferno Arcanite extremely quickly. But you have flexibility with this. You can absolutely give this or bind your Ranger with this weapon to, say, your Tianti, and now you have 3 Magma. It is a way that you do it and give up the Inferno, but at the same time, Inferno otherwise doesn't really get procced until Rampfire is fully evolved. And Inferno seems to be really, really good right now. So to make it, I guess, not too complicated, basically, get yourself the fire weapon. The Boomerang is the most popular, but it is not the only one. I'll go over that in just a second. But you'd pick yourself up the fire Boomerang. You would bind yourself to your Ace or even to your Scoriox. You would have a Inferno already procced up, so just constantly ticking away damage at your opponents. And you're basically just kind of cruising from there. Protect the Scoriox. You don't have to bunker up. Just make sure that you're positioning yourself properly away from any spellcasters. Don't put yourself into the middle of a dual F beam or something along those lines. But if you can position yourself properly, this will flourish nicely. But again, no Boomerang, no problem. There's a reason why Railu is here. So what you can then end up doing... Oh crap, I didn't get the Boomerang. What am I possibly going to do? Am I cooked? No, there is other ways to do this. You can pick up the Fire Gauntlet as well. Bind yourself to your Railu instead, and now you still have Arcanite Inferno. And then another way of doing this, which can, or another alternative way that you can do this, if you really felt like it, I definitely don't recommend, but it can save you if a weapon reroll doesn't necessarily go your way. Is that, okay, crap, my weapon, I have a fire weapon, I have the Empath Staff, for example, but I don't have Arcanite anymore. Well, that's okay, you can still do Templar. Once again, bring this to, or bind yourself with the Empath weapon to your Railu, and then you'll have 3 Templar, because not only do you have Railu, but you usually bring Fernite for a little bit of extra disruption and a little bit of extra attack speed when the tornado hits your Scoriox and the rest of your team. So it's a perfect synergy. You have 3 different ways to proc fire this Arcanite kind of style, or this Inferno kind of style. 2 of them being Arcanite, 1 of them being Templar. You have the flexibility to do so. And you can even still, if Arcanite Inferno doesn't necessarily go your way, there is also Earth weapons that can make this work as well. So there is just so much benefit right now to go for fire. There are plenty of ways that you can get flexible with this. With, like, start off with Arcanite Inferno. It could then turn into Arcanite Shock. It could then turn into Arcanite Magma. You have so much flexibility and so much damage. And that is why it is the most popular team right now in professional play in the IPL 1000. That is the gist of it, to say the least. Trying to see if there's any other details that I had missed. I should probably give thank yous, of course. Of course, big thank yous to the IPL team, the back-end team, for collecting the data and keeping track of this so that I can share this all with the community and hopefully help jumpstart you in your ranked play, knowing at least a couple of team compositions that you can go for. If you like this, of course, by all means, whether it be following on Twitch or subscribing on YouTube, would love to absolutely have you on board. Come say hi next time you happen to see me live or something like that. But thank you, and I'll see you on the next one. But of course, for any live viewers, I'm not actually going anywhere. We make use of our stream time, kind of doubling up stream with video recording at the same time. Well, let's get the music back up and going here. That is the top 5 teams for the IPL right now. Also, again, big thank you and shout out to Fox, Oracle, and Zaleth for joining us here on YouTube. Good to see you. I hope everybody's having a fantastic day so far. All right. Next up, going to quickly go over Illuvium 0. I had a little bit of an update. Of course, it had to happen when I wasn't streaming. But all Tier 2 biodata has been collected now. I have all of the lynxes. I got 2 of them on the same plot on the same day, the last 2 that I needed. So now I'm just in a process of collecting blueprints while I await for the rest of my scanners to all level up to level 3. It's an expensive process in terms of the Illuvium Zero's fuel, and it definitely takes a little while. I've got 5 scanners on 4 different plots that I need to level up to level 3 now, and start then collecting on those sooner rather than later. Thankfully, of course, I'm not starting from 0 with these tier 3s. I do have a bunch of them already because I did have a couple of these one-off scanners that were already level 5. And of course, I save my my scans and I save my research for the most part on just save them for stream days. The one day I didn't, of course, I land both of them. But unlucky, but is what it is. We'll hop away from Illuvium and pop on open to 0 here in just a second. There we go. After this, of course, we'll be doing a little bit of ranked play. Just hanging out, chilling, and trying to see how I can perform in the arena. Let's see, I'm loaded up. In 1 level 3, 2. This one I need to upgrade. We'll do that. And unfortunately, because I am in this process, I do have to make sure I turn off the rest of my research moving forward, because I need to save up all of my fuel to upgrade those scanners. But we have one more shot before a break at getting some blueprints here today. Let me get my sheet open here on my side monitor, see what we can score. Chianti's not going to show up. Sephoris is going to find us a little fact, which is nice. Kukaraf is going to find us the Hilda. And with the Hilda being found, that does allow for my goal of trying to get a combo where I get 1 suit and 1 drone for every single alluvial. Well, I can check that box off now for Kukaraf, and the entire Kuka line I now have combos for. There we go. Still got a few more, of course. Let's see. Sephoris, any luck? Tianti, any luck? Another fact, unlucky. And no scan from the tier 5. So now my plot is going to have to take a bit of a break, because I need to load up on fuel. Thankfully, I at least have enough resources and stacked up on carbon, silicone, and the hydrogen for a while, so I can at least upgrade things as soon as I get the right amount of fuel. But it is a process. This stuff takes time, and like I was saying before, this ain't a sprint, it is a marathon. You have to treat it as such. Hopping on over to Shard Bluff, where pain here is that I actually have to convert my fuel into the Hyperion. We'll set that one off. And then in a similar fashion, I need to turn off my research labs. I'll keep the tier 5 scanner going just in case we happen to get lucky. Let's see, Gyro, nope. TB Ruko, Hilda. Secured. There we go, we love to see it. And of course, for those that may just be joining, not realize what I end up doing, this is of course what I'm working on in the background. This is my Illuvium Zero blueprint checklist of sorts, or my Illuvium Zero worksheet. So say for example here, we just got TB Ruko, and that was what, the Hilda. There we go, middle of the screen. I'll check that box. Now I just need a suit for it, and then I can have that combo checked off. If you happen to want this sheet for yourself, I do have it pinned on my X account. So you can see it there. And I just realized that my head is a little bit overly fuzzy. I'm going to make a quick adjustment. Bear with me here. Still trying to get this green screen thing figured out. How bad's the outline? It's pretty noticeable, eh? I'll run with that. It's more noticeable when I'm full screen, but we'll make do for now. Don't want to spend too much time on tech stuff. The TB Ruko is here. That is a big find. Can I find the suit for it and get the combo? Not today. What about Rai and Railu? Nope, not this time. How about my random scanner? Not this time either. So, heck, we got one piece of the TB Ruko. I'm pretty happy with that. Some progress has been made today. And that is, of course, not my only lots. I still got two more that are currently doing research that I do need to shut down now because of, again, the resources necessary. We turn them all off for now. And in this one, I even had to turn off my scanner, so let's see. Axodon, any luck? Nope. Revo? No. Axodon again. We got a fact for it. Revo, another fact. Paradulox for the combo. Not gonna end up getting it, but that's a-okay. No dice this time, but that's alright. Got one more here for today in regards to blueprints. Got one scanner going already. Need to start converting a little bit more, but I still... Okay, I do have it converted. Big plans, of course, for this plot in particular eventually. This plot and my next two that I have come in just a moment here, my other two tier 1s. These are eventually, once the training gyms are added into Illuvium 0, as long as I can put multiple training gyms into one plot, let's say if it behaves similarly to like the scanners where I can put 5 of them on, for example, I am going to essentially destroy this plot. All the spots we see in the center here where there's all of these converters, I will just rip out everything and I will put every single gym that I possibly can here onto this plot. And I say, oh, screw it, I will have my own Illuvium daycare. I will raise your Illuvials levels with my fuel if that's necessary to get the job done. And I'll do this on 3 different plots because we know that, especially trying to level them up for a Leviathan, it's probably the toughest grind that you have to do as a player right now in competitive Illuvium. So if I can help out by turning my lands into a daycare for you, I'll absolutely do so. But in the meantime, what do I have? I don't even think I have actually anything in progress science-wise here. So yeah, I'm going to end up closing this one up in just a moment. Up over to Crimson, where I did just get a Nexus level up. Oh, my passive fuel is ready for pickup. I'll gladly take that. Of course, by having all of these extra converters and having them at a decent level of efficiency, I have mine all the way up to, say, 140 or 150. I don't need it this early, but it's just for when I eventually upgrade them. But every week, they will cap out and give you your passive generation. So for these all being just level 1s, they give me 2 per converter, basically every single week, and I get a nice influx of Hyperion in this case. So, can't complain about that. The next goal here, of course, is Nexus level 9. Got a lot of work to go to get here for that one. But we are getting there. And then I am almost at the point here for this plot where I can throw a scanner down and complete the video idea that I had, where it's going to be how long does it take to get a tier 1 from a clean new plot to getting your first blueprint. That is the goal. We are almost there. I just need this storage unit to finish so I can actually get enough silicone to be able to afford a scanner, because it costs 1.1 mil. And once it's finished, I'll have 1 point, or once the storage unit is finished, I'll have 1.2 in terms of space and so we are right there. It is very, very close. Not quite. And last but not least, the plot that I kind of spoiled myself for, my only tier 3. This one doesn't do any research, but I just scoop up the fuel. And then we'll see. Come Thursday, if that's something I want to do, I can absolutely burn the fuel and get a share of the redistributed fuel or the redistributed ETH that Illuvium brings out every week. You can absolutely choose whether or not you want to do that, and I honestly very well might, because with the Illuvium Beyond set that did just come out, in theory, there would be an influx of fuel purchased. So it might actually be a good week to do so. In fact, I might actually just not even wait so I don't forget about it. Just let me burn everything. I'm not using this fuel for anything else. So let's burn it. So with that as it stands right now, I get 0.05 of the cut. And that's off of just tier 3 levels of fuel production. So I could only imagine what people with tier 5s and 4s end up getting every single week. I did end up getting a... I checked my drop from last week when it was a quiet week, and I think I got like 7 or 29 fuel. I can't remember exactly. But it's a nice little chunk of change. The main thing that I got into Illuvium Zero for in the first place was that I wanted to have a way where I can produce fuel myself and send it to Overworld. While the traditional way of doing it, where I would just max out on, say, Krypton, for example, and just keep sending my Krypton over to the Overworld so I could just keep doing Illuvium Overworld runs, while that part of the game is gone, you can still kind of do this because I have these lands. And if every week, by me burning fuel, it's giving me enough fuel for, say, 1 or 2 stage 1 runs in the overworld, that to me is worth it. And that's kind of still what I was looking for. And of course, all my tier 1s being able to have skins and make my own skins. And then eventually level up with gyms. I mean, I know Illuvium Zero doesn't necessarily get as much love right now because it is the support game compared to the main title that some of these other Illuvium projects are. But Zero does still excite me. Still makes me happy. I'm happy to log in every day. It doesn't feel like a chore to me. And I'm just still enjoying myself, to say the least. Alright, Illuvium Zero complete. Let's bring this on back to Illuvium. We have probably enough for 2 games here today. Let's go. Alright. Sneak 2 games in before I get sent to the gulag, which is the video editing suite. Because, of course, once I'm done these streams, my job right now, and my main focus, of course, is not just clipping. I am constantly all over the place clipping community members and making my own clips, whether it be for my own channel. I have 2 channels that I'm currently working on, and then I'm also doing clipping for Illuvium and making highlights in that way. So, send myself to the gulag shortly after the stream, but this is my moment to have a little bit of fun, so I'm happy. One other thing that I was also happy about, you may have heard me talk about Illuvium Beyond a little bit earlier, I changed my profile picture again. And I'm kind of torn because I have 2 of them that I actually really, really like. 3 of them that I really, really like, actually. The Gazatep is the one I'm using right now because, of course, I'm a healer at everything, like MMO-wise. Playing the Scholar in Final Fantasy, for example, has been my favorite role game kind of combo for an MMO. And this Gazatep looks like it's straight up a healer. I absolutely love it, so I have that. But at the same time, you know I'm a sucker for Lynxes. I have this Furious Halloween Nimble Terra Lynx here. And heck, even this red Gazatep I absolutely love. It doesn't necessarily go very well with my border, but that's okay. I can absolutely change that. Of course, having the borders from the Battle Pass. Let's take a breather, though, while we do have this loading screen. Coffee break. Light audio adjustment. Well, play a little adjustments. Let's see. Be fine. Oh, we're chilling. One of the things happening later on today as well, for those that are into the competitive side of things or want to compete in a tournament, we have Leviathan. OLA's Leviathan tournament will be happening pretty much as my stream ends. So within like the next hour and 10 minutes, the sit and goes in Leviathan do take place. I personally don't compete, not because I don't want to, but it does collide with having to pick up my kids from school. So I try not to compete per se, at least not for a long period of time. But like say for today, for example, I won't be actually competing, and I need to be clipping, of course. So not today, but maybe another day. And of course, if I do actually get to compete, Leviathan's already done for today. Oh, was the time slot different? I thought it was noon and 8 my time. Well, thank you, Texan. Thank you for the update. Thank you for the clarification. Interesting. Okay. I just hope there's actually some sort of coverage for it soon. I was very, very disheartened last week when the Leviathan tournament ended up going down. Illuvium's promoting it, and then Olay, of course, was promoting it. I understand they're not necessarily being a stream, but I didn't even see any results posted at all from anywhere. I had to straight up ask in the Discord, like, hey, what happened? And eventually I got led in the right direction. Somebody showed me a screenshot, I believe, but it's weird that I have to go for a Google Doc in order to find your results. Hoping there's a little bit more exposure, because, again, I truly think that Leviathan should be the future of Arena. And I don't want to see it just kind of get swept under the rug in terms of any event for it. It's exciting to me. I just enjoy it. Like, I don't even care about the financial sides. Of course, those who have stuck around for a little while know when it comes to crypto, I just don't care. That's not what I'm here for, right? Despite me choking, I promise I'm not lying. But when it comes to crypto, I just don't care. I don't care about the crypto wallets. I don't care about the NFTs. I think it's fantastic technology, but in terms of like making money or whatever off it, that's not why I'm here. I don't care. But having the ownership aspect of these Illuvials and knowing that that is my creature on the field, that's why I love this. And I want to see Leviathan in turn promoted. If that means that there's an ecosystem benefit, hell yeah, let's go for it. But that's not my focus. Did I see Shard Bluff as the region this time? What did we get? Draft rounds are only legendaries. Okay, interesting. Very, very interesting. Scoop that up real quick. The 200 ping dream, I feel that. It took me a long, long time to actually have somewhat decent internet. Heck, even now, it does drop the ball on me every once in a while. Let's see what kind of components or augments. I'm not going to commit to a team just yet until... Okay, here we go. It might be time for a tankier build based off of how many of these blue augments I am seeing here for myself. I'd be a fool not to. Let's get this. Let's see. Damage struck. I'm going for tanks now. Do that. Keep myself as a fighter for the time being. Keep myself as water. I'll probably lose this, and that's fine. The gym rat's gonna beat me up. Poor little Atipo didn't even get a chance to swing. At least this Doka is pretty tanky. You should be able to at least get this Ranger down, but it's not going for the Ranger, is it? That's a tanky Ranger, never mind. Sheesh. We'll take 2. So based off of what I'm thinking, I'm not going to need Valente. And I don't mind necessarily getting beat up. This is good. Vinebound, definitely not. Fire is tempting, but I think the Ripple Flail might be exactly what I'm looking for here. So we've got Bulwark, Bulwark, Bulwark. I like that. 4 water, nice and fast. Make you a carry based off of your positioning. Give this to you. And I don't mind getting beat up right now. There's a lot of times where I would end up getting level 4, but I actually do not mind getting beat on right now. Drudo gonna beat me up, but that's fine. What is the links for it? Stoic Terra? Or Stoic Ember? Interesting. Ooh, okay. Earth Steadfast, no thank you. No, no, no. I think I have to go for the Bloodthirst. Oh, actually, there we go. Combat Rhythm. That's probably the only thing that I would take higher than that, so that is incredible. ATZX is level 4. They should be able to clean me up rather consistently. We'll get level 4 next time by here, and then I'll try to actually start mitigating the damage a little bit. I'm low enough that I think I'm in a good spot. Reason for getting all of this damage done to me so quickly, of course, is because of the region. Because we're in Shard Bluff right now, and legendary augments are going to be on the draft deck, I want as early of a pick in that draft deck that I possibly can. Because if I can find something that lets me be super tanky, or find something that lets me make a super carry, I am absolutely going to take advantage of that as fast as I possibly can. And who do I want to put up there? We can do something like this for now. Hang in there, Archie. Get a couple heals off before that Valente does end up taking you down. My Ranger is still extremely healthy, and of course, with the Ripple Flail being their weapon, it kind of turns them into a carry bulwark for a little while, so it can at least mitigate some of this damage that I am going to inevitably take. We'll take it this time down to 81. It definitely hurts, but optimally, we come out of the draft deck and we get the opportunity to go absolutely insane. What's everybody else doing? We do have 2 fires, CFGD rocking the fire, Boomerang. Verdant Rogue, Fighters, Empaths. Nice little mix in this lobby. And then I think I have the idea. I guess I got a bunch of tank augments to kind of start things off, but if I happen to find an offensive one on the draft deck, this could supercharge me extremely well. Okay, Leviathan's Fury, actually, that is almost a must pick, I think. So that's the offensive augment I'm looking for, 4% of max health for every single auto attack. So anybody that I can get to auto attack very, very quickly and possibly safely can then carry the squad. And you might have saw it on my bench already and been thinking to yourself, Silent, don't you hate this thing? I do, but it might be worth it. Didn't necessarily get the augment I was hoping for here. I will end up just taking the stolen resistances. Get up to the next level. Rota can go away. I don't care necessarily that you're there. But this is what we're going to end up doing. Let's get ourselves an additional Bulwark Imprint so we can throw that onto Archie. Let's get this loaded up. And as much as it pains me to do this, we're not doing Verdant Vanguard. We're gonna do Aqua Vanguard. Aqua Aegis. Or Aqua Vanguard. One of the two. Sold my soul a little bit to the devil, which is this penguin, but we are going to try it. I've only done this once before. And won the lobby with it. There is another tank. Let's bring you onto the board. You've done well, dear Doka. Time to move on in this instance. I wonder, can I hit? Not you. I don't want to spend too much. I just want to try and get my damn Archos. This is how we're going to do it for now because we don't have Archos. We are going to do the Ranger as a Vanguard to try and protect the Penguin, but that early phase breaker did just absolutely push my luck, it looks like. Brutally. Just gotta hit a couple of these lower tier units. And is there anything I can sell? Let me clean up my board a little bit. It's a little messy at the moment. Kind of want to keep the dash just because of how heavily contested it is. There. And rather than going absolutely insane for the links, I will gladly pick them up, but it is not my priority right now. Move my tank augments onto my links, actually. Penguin. Ranger. And we'll go from here. They've got the level up, but I'd argue my team's scarier. We'll have to see. Penguin just gets to shoot at to Tofi for free at this moment, so that's a nice start. Good morning, Gear. Hey, just because I play the game a lot does not mean I'm good at said game. But if you're just joining now, of course, I'm actually intentionally took some major hits because of the draft deck on this region. When we're in the little circle and we're in the carousel, they have legendary items on that carousel. And then whoever has the lowest amount of health gets to pick first. So I intentionally had myself take a big beating to make sure that I can get one of the first picks. Kind of irritated, though, that I did not find Archos. Might try 2 rolls. Down a Lynx. 3 rolls? Oh, there's Caribou. I really want... There we go. Okay. Spread out. Aegis. Aqua Aegis. Onto the Penguin. Go get him, bud. You like big beatings. Are you gonna kink shame me, bro? No, I'm just kidding. Now I need to start looking to level up, because I'm just getting taken down here by the pure volume of units that are just being thrown my way. Thankfully, Penguin is doing fantastic, and we're going to be able to turn this around. Lynx held the line for so long onto that poor Gym Rat. Gym Rat's not going to beat me up this time. No, of course, you're good. You're good here. I'm just playing. What do we get? The battle momentum is a nice start. What else do we find? I think battle momentum will be the pick. NPC round, so I get the opportunity to take a little bit of a breather here. Let's reposition. Because I want to have my Archers close to all of my tanks to heal them, but at the same time, I don't want to give them the Aegis buff. I want to give it to my Penguin, and that's why my Ranger's right there. So Archos is closest to Penguin, Ranger is closest to Penguin. It shares the stats, the attack damage, attack speed, and resistances. And especially now since I have Leviathan's Fury, or what used to be Leviathan's Fury, the power cubes, every auto attack just hits that much better. Subbing in a Bolin? Right, there you go. Well, hopefully for the sake of fun, you get on in. And best of luck. Best of luck if you do end up getting in. Okay. This is greedy, but I'm going to use my red augment onto the blue one, hoping for the emergency button. We get it. There we go. Let's trade that. So now, not only do I have 2 fantastic DPS augments, I have an emergency button in case the Penguin gets targeted. I'd argue this is probably the best case scenario I could actually build this Penguin with. I don't have anybody that can actually heal the Penguin if they do end up getting focused down. Gerudo's gonna make me eat my words, though. Beautifully done. This bunker composition with that Emberling Rod is gonna be able to tear on through. So even with the combat rhythm, the Omnivamp, I'm just not able to take down a bunker just yet. Interesting. Attack speed or your 5th attack explodes. Think we'll go for it. Not sure how I feel about it necessarily, but we'll roll with it. And with me now having that to level, very well could push for either another Illuvial or rolling for an Illuvial. But I'm going to take Ebe here. This could hopefully be the answer to my lack of sustain. I've not really logged into Discord. I do apologize there, Gear. If I can quickly peek, open it up. Yeah, I'm not sure which one you're referencing, so my apologies that I didn't get to see it. It looks like I'm contested for penguins, are we? But at the same time, that is still just a little slapping. Can we out-sustain? This is scary, but thankfully being able to just reflect the damage with the bulwark was able to get me that one. And I'm still very, very low on the pecking order in terms of my ability to pick. Do I want to get greedy? How do I want to do? I don't know what I didn't want to do. Let's just take you. The Power Ascent or the Transcendent Relic. So I was debating on going for another Power Cube here, or Leviathan's Fury, but this is the point now where I think tankiness is actually going to be the downfall of the squad, especially with anything water-based. So I'm very curious as to what to put it on, because in terms of the penguin, I feel like I have everything that I want for it. I'll put it onto my links of all things right now, but I have full intention on moving this eventually. Penguin going to be going up against the Groko, going to help charge it up a little bit. Hopefully we can speed it down. Now the Fleesh was targeting it though, so that's a little bit problematic. Going to force the untargetable very early on into this fight. We at least do get onto the Fleesh. The Transcendent Relic's actually doing pretty good here onto the Lynx, though. They haven't really been able to kill this thing. And it's adding that tankiness, adding that little extra damage that I might have been looking for. Alright, there we go. Regards in November. So this is... I don't want to say for sure yes, but it looks like a yes for now, because there's still talks about the Illuvium Pro League's World Final being a in-person event. And if it's an in-person event, there's a likelihood that there is a big break between the end of the season, which is at, I believe, right before that weekend. And if there's a big break, then yes, 100% the 29th and 30th would be open. Man, you got tons of board games coming on through. That's actually incredible. Very, very nice. So once we know for sure what the plans are with the Illuvium Pro League, I can give you a better answer, which of course annoys the heck out of both you and I, because I never have a solid answer for scheduling purposes. Game plan now, so leveling up to level 7 now allows me to have Rake onto the board, and I'm very likely going to move my augments over to Rake unless I can now find Penguin. I'm gonna keep myself above the maximum interest mark, which of course is 70. Don't get any more interest after that. Finding Alfie is nice. I'll keep you for later. The nice extra little bit of reinforcements that I like to see. Water chip, please. No, we actually get bulwark instead. All right. The empowered attacks deal additional energy damage. Yes, let's go for another bulwark imprint. I'm not too thrilled about the choices here, but it's okay. Let's actually just make you a bulwark. Actually, no, I can't do that. Let's switch this up. Eve, you can be a bulwark. Let's load up the Rake instead. You have more firepower. I know you rely more on Omega Power. Let's trade out what gets the Aegis buff. Wish I could find a damn Axon. The fact that I haven't found that yet is kind of irritating. And can pick you up, sure. Link's on board. Hello, beautiful. There we go. Big old tank line. The lone fire in a group of water. And hopefully help me hold the line here. And the Umber, of course, is a much safer Illuvium overall, constantly being able to dip and dive through the smoke screen. And it's actually outperforming what Penguin was doing by a long shot. Granted, this thing's actually evolved, so it damn well better. And the Lynx with the Transcendent Relic is just an unkillable beast at this point. Bulwark Imprint again. The resistances might be nice considering I do have 5 Bulwark. That basically turns it into damage. I don't have fighters. Let's go for Fortress Protocol. Because Umber is now the main thing on my target, I'm going to start pushing towards level 8. Is anybody else going for Umber right now? There is one other Rake being held by the Gym Rat. What I could also do... I mean, I like the Aegis port. Well, I'm giving up steam in order to do it, though. This is a nice spread out fight. My team does not mind that. They're still all within range, or they were all within range of the Archos. The Penguin is being a fantastic dive buddy alongside the Umber, so they're just tag teaming this entire squad. And Umber is nice and healthy. Estelle head. Sorry, mate. Get out of here. Those are cheap. I'll pick them up just in case I start to really roll through and find them. Squeeze has made an appearance. That's something that I want to go for. Oddly enough, considering 9 times out of 10, considering the way that I play, the answer would be yes. Hey, I don't think so. Leveled up to level 8. This will now allow for Alfie to get into the fight. Then I can... Where do I want to add them? I think all the way over here in the corner is where I'm going to add them, because this is a rogue squad. They're going to dive right at me, aren't they? Yep, all of them into the back line. I probably should have moved my tanks, but I think I have enough of a tanky enough back line that I can keep them away from the verdant puddle for at least a little bit. Umber, you're onto the Penguin. Alfie, you're onto the Penguin. This is good. Can I Omni-Vamp through? Lots of shots fired, and actually, that and the Lynx are still alive. I misplayed the tank positioning, but everyone found the targets they needed. Making this a damn good day. That is a lot of water units showing up here on the board. How's Rake tested? Do I want to... What do I want to do here, actually? Do I have enough faith that Gym Rat is going to fall? I didn't see what their last battle was. Because if they're fallen, I'm just going to slow play my level. Excuse me. Just slow play a level up. And eventually, I'll roll once they're eliminated. Rip Lance onto my Umber is kind of terrifying, not going to lie. It immediately got popped, so that ain't good. Still got Alfie, 200 ping Dream. Also having that Umber is kind of scary here. Now onto my Lynx. Stun, we need that stun, big ol' stun coming on through. But yeah, that is a terrifying squad coming out here now from 200 ping Dream. So they also have a Rake. So both Rakes and Penguins. being picked up, and even Drudo has an Alfie, so a lot of the units that I was going for are kind of being picked on up. And now I'm near the top of the board, so I get last pick in terms of augments. Do Leviathans, what do I do? Health and resistances. Hello? There we go. I'm putting that on the links. My links already had a boatload of health. If I can add additional resistances, so I'm just doing more reflective damage from the 5 bulwark buff, that would be beautiful. Dash has arrived. That's 2. What I would end up doing is I would get rid of the resistances. Let me go over there and give you that instead. And then have Penguin kind of be support here in the back line. Again, the fact that I still have not found Axon is kind of painful. A big thing to note, actually, is that the Rake from 200 Ping Dream, whoever he played against, actually died. So that means Jimrat is the only one left with her. Since I have all those extra credits, I'm definitely debating on making a move sooner. Engine. Do I have my engine? I don't get any of the engines. That's disappointing. But what I can do. Yes. Go here. That's fine. I need to debate on moving my Aegis around. Alfie again. Alfie again. Bang, bang. 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 I'm actually not necessarily concerned about Rip Lance as of this moment, but maybe I can. Because I just got absolutely crushed. Unfortunately, I was rolling, didn't really necessarily pay attention to the fight, so that's definitely a mistake on my end. Atlas, there's one of you. Would really love to get you before I end up leveling. Oh, thank Christ. Okay. Finally, I don't have a damn Atlas at such a late portion of the game. Jimrat is about to go down. Much as I want to go, I will be patient. Just to the other side, make sure it's actually going into the proper unit. Blood, cover my dear Alfie. And this is that toxic Aegis. Y'all are wondering what I was talking about a little bit earlier. This is the comp. Now that I see that Sinolf there, I'm a little bit disheartened. I should have moved Flood over into a corner. But let's see if my squad have enough to get there. Stabin is not doing a whole heck of a lot right now, which is a little bit unfortunate. Umber's kind of tied up in the back line. Drudo, your drone is ticking me off, but I do not want to mute you. Come on, Umber, we need a heal. No, it does end up falling. We're at least going to mitigate some of this damage, but we're now going to be within kill shot here in a second. Yeah, gotta play perfect so now. Jimrat, did you go down? Yes, he did. Okay. Go time. Come on. There's one. There's two. Bang, bang, bang. And let's level. Riptor. Join. Slapping. Not going to find that penguin on top of it. But maybe, just maybe, we have enough to get this done. Umber onto the Mammoth. At least it's not taking much damage, but I'm afraid of it getting yeeted here in a second. Actually, my Caradulux that got yeeted instead. That is just so much damage. Umber definitely getting targeted down. Umber and Penguin to kind of seal this fight. There's a lot there, including that nasty Jotun. I think we round out here in 4th. We tried an experiment. Might not work here today, but that's a-okay. I don't mind using my ranked play as an experiment optimally in that situation, especially since I've had Umber. I emphasized Aegis over Steam, and that was a mistake. I should have probably gone for Steam to help benefit that. The 8 water was an interesting take, in my opinion. We did still get 4th in it, so it's not like it was terrible. But we did not have the longevity, even with the drone augments, to get the job done. GG's. Yeah, the last time that I tried that build, it wasn't with Umber, it was with Penguin. And then I was actually able to find a Malura. I went for Aqua. It was Aqua Vanguard. And was able to win the lobby. That was a little bit different. Wasn't quite able to get it this time, but that's alright. Still end up in the top 4. Alright. But a relatively good day still so far. I'm just happy to be able to play a few. After this, have some lunch, and then get back to some video editing. I've got so much I want to do between clipping and whatnot and everything for the Illuvium side of things. To clarify, I'm not internal, or like I'm not actually hired by Illuvium or anything like that. I just help out with the clipping, making highlights and whatnot that eventually get posted onto social media. So I don't know about any sort of upcoming leaks or any sort of release dates or anything along those lines. No, I'm just as in the dark as all of you. But doing that, and of course I have 2 channels that I'm video editing now for. Or I should say they're both my own channels, but it's what I'm working on. I have so many video ideas, too, that I want to do for my own channel, but it's just an interesting dilemma, because they're definitely fun and people definitely like it, but it's unfortunate right now that, of course, Illuvium is still very, very small. So the target audience, of course, that's actually looking for Illuvium content is very, very small. I have all these great ideas, like, say, even like a Fire Inside. That's probably my most watched and most, like, enjoyed video. But even still, it doesn't, like, translate to any growth because it's for a game from a small community. And that's not me trying to chirp anybody by any means. I'm very, very thankful each and every one of you. But if it's a matter of clipping and making highlights for Illuvium as a whole, or making my own video, a lot of the times I just end up clipping for Illuvium instead. The growth on the channel, I know I normally do a monthly report, and actually we would technically be at that point where I would do a monthly progress report. But it's still been a great month in terms of growth, just it doesn't necessarily translate to the videos. To clarify, like say the YouTube Shorts. Thanks to the help of the Illuvium social media intern. I really learned a lot this month in regards to posting content for shorts, clipping, and whatnot. And in the past, my goal was always to be able to release one short per day. I failed during September, but from July to August, I was successful at doing that. And that was with manually editing every single short. There is still a little bit of that, but now I know a lot more. In October, I was successful at posting 2 shorts every single day in October. And I'm pretty proud of that, and because of that, we have seen a 400% increase in viewership. But for shorts, that doesn't necessarily translate into my long-form content. But the community has been extremely supportive, though. Do not get me wrong. I'm definitely not ungrateful. I'm very happy with the progress we've made so far. And now we're at 66 subscribers. My personal goal, by the end of December, I want to hit 100. And I understand that it is very tough because, like I had said before, I am making content for a very niche community. Illuvium's still very small, but I love it. And if my growth is slow because Illuvium's not super popular, then that's okay. And those that are here, I definitely respect the hell out of, and I'm very happy everybody is here. And as Illuvium grows, in theory, so should I. And that's why, even still, like I could talk about college esports or something along the lines, or pick another esport that I can just slam my head against the wall, but the heart and the happiness is not there with those topics. I'm most happy here. And for as long as I can, I'll keep doing this. Did we get the same region again? Shard Bluff, draft rounds only grants legendary augments. Alright. One thing I found rather interesting based off of a testnet patch, in an effort to reduce game time, the carousel, the draft deck, is actually going to be removed. And honestly, I'm actually so happy about that. Because it just sucks the life out of the game every single time there's a draft deck. And then these heavily chaotic rounds that involve the draft deck can be balanced a little bit. Grudo, hello. Hearts to you as well. Good game yesterday. Good game earlier as well. How far did you end up getting in that one? Because I think you crushed me at the end there. Okay, I'll set up here. Couple of people I recognize. Well, I think I've recognized everybody in the lobby from at least 1 or 2 times. Klepton, I think, is the only exception that I don't specifically recognize. Okay, I do get an engine this time, thank God. Thanks, I'm gonna play. Something like that. I'm gonna try this one playing a little bit more normal. In the last game, I got the legendary augments and kind of forced myself to get hurt early. That plus maybe not having a clear goal with my composition really did hurt me. So, we'll see. Again, Anubis, long time veteran of the scene in this lobby, not complain, professional level player. Multiple grand final visits. And some people hate the fact that as somebody who's rating it, Christ. Hang on. I'll get back to that in a second. Do I turn to the dark side? Oh god, that's a lot of fire. The dark side is there. I don't think so, not this time. Let's try this again. Definitely thinking about it though, not going to lie. But anyway, a lot of people get like really like frustrated because like my rating's not very high. It's barely above, I think, 1,200, and you start at 1,200. So a lot of people would get really, really angry at the fact that I'm playing against somebody who's essentially leading the entire leaderboard with playing up against Not Complain. But I know, at least personally, I like this because I learn more playing up against good players than rolling a newer player lobby. If anything, rolling a new player lobby gives me false positives. I'll think that things are good when they're actually not, so I like being able to play up against the professionals even as a new player, or not as a new player, even as a low-ranked player. I understand for people who are literally brand new to the game, having to go up against a professional can be a little bit scary. But I don't know if it was just my involvement with the fighting game community that I'm just so used to that. Because let's be honest, you go for a you go play ranked usually in a fighting game. They might have a rank of some sort, but let's be honest, ranks in fighting games are just a matter of how long have you played. Somebody who's newer to the game, or newer to the ranked system, but is an FGC fighting game veteran and knows what they're doing, can absolutely still clap you. So, I'm just accustomed to it. But like playing up against Not Complain, I'm happy. I'm learning against this. As long as I have my mind set into learning about it. If I wanted to just sit there, complain, and bitch about the game, I mean, there's plenty of other streams you can go to for that. But it's just a terrible mindset to have, in my opinion. Whether you're a brand new player or a veteran. We got the numbers, but they got a little dash. How is this one going to end up going? The untargetable... Okay, they do turn back on the dash. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Of course, Not Complain, I'm sure, is not going to complain about being a little bit lower when the region is, of course, Shard Bluff. Okay, Caribou, you were one of the units that I'm hoping for. This is a good start. Links check. What do we got this time? Oh, Stoic Nature? Stoic Thoralinks. I am torn as per usual. It was a very, very eye-opening experience, this IPL. This was the first time that we got to see the credits of everybody while we were competing, or when we were casting. And I was so alarmed with how healthy, in terms of economy, that everybody was pretty much at all times. I know personally, I find the most success, like, rolling early. But, I don't know, that's just me, I guess. And in that first game, I tried to play a little bit more reserved. And I got 4th, which, I mean, I'm happy about. But I think I'm going to settle for 4th. And I have a very, very definitive play style. Links, come on through. Let's combine you. This is what I'm looking for. Let's go. Hello, beautiful. There you are. Just like that. Easy peasy. Like that. And Caribou makes an appearance at the last possible second, too. There we go. I know, like, higher level players will look at what I'm doing and roll their eyes and call me an idiot, but I tell you what, sometimes you just have a playstyle and it works. Like, did literally nobody else go for Lynxes? Oh no, there was Klepton. All the Lynxes just came to me, I suppose. And that might have been the way to go, I suppose, this entire time. So now, if I trade out you, and then I go for this will get me Toxic relatively early on into this fight. You hop back here, protect the Tianti at least a little bit. Level 6 is on the menu. I do still need Archie if I want this to work properly. This is going to turn into Toxic Aegis, in theory. I don't know if my Lynx can take this one. This one is pretty tough considering the healing. Tianti, can you get one more shot before you go down by chance? A blind is going to make things difficult. You do actually get it. Very nice. Stun, come on out. There we go. It took care of it. I love this damn thing for a reason. Blessed Lynx. Okay. Get to 6. Get to 5 bulwark. Put you closer to the middle. Is there anybody diving at me right now? Does not look like it. Do something like this. You go over to the other side towards the ranger. I don't care that the Grow goes right there. Just roll with it. Yeah, Valente is going to be going down, but that's fine. If I wanted to go commit to the Riptorus, this would be a better pick, but I think the safer pick is to keep the Flail. I could very well absolutely be wrong. Might be something to take a look at later. Archie's here, though. I almost completely missed that. Okay, get in there, Valente. The Lynx got powered down extremely quickly. Here comes the classic Inferno style. But with the Arctase falling, I just have to take care of that damn Ranger. Atlas, Papa Shields, there we good. We're on top of them. And we will eventually clean this one up. There we go. You're over on YouTube saying, damn internet, I haven't dropped a frame. This might actually not be me for once. Or is it your internet? What happened? Water imprint is definitely a possibility. Fire imprint, no thank you. Let's go for water to be safe. Trade out something like this for now. We did find Riptorus, which is awesome. 2 dashes I'm not going to complain about either. The Twitch broadcast ended. That's interesting. take a peek here. Oh, I did. Well, I can say for once this one wasn't me. But that is still definitely alarming. Okay, let's get this Riptor completely loaded up on damage. Cover him up. Of course, if anybody did hop over to YouTube but prefers Twitch, Twitch is back online, but I did see that it looks like Twitch is having a little bit of issues in terms of connectivity. In terms of dropped frames or connection, I have not dropped a thing. So, definitely heartbreaking there. Apologize for the inconvenience. Come on, little Riptor, hang in there. I probably should have not been greedy with the damage and given them the old Mendo skeleton. But now that it is just Tianti versus Apon, I think we should be able to get this, right? There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Life Leecher, yes please. Now I want to start leveling out of this. Do I need to now though? Range, makeup power. Torn as to how I want to do this, because this is a nice lineup here for my Riptor. I'd love to be able to just throw this on instead, and I think I have to stop being greedy and actually go for this. Something like that for now. That way Riptor can actually sustain a little bit before it becomes toxic. What I need is a nature empath, and of course Archie is the pick here, but I need it to be Archos to get to that Aegis buff. That was a little bit safer, that was a little bit cleaner. It did help we had, well, we didn't even have full hyper, we were just able to roll on through. Klept's gonna end up falling this time. Draft deck next to Legendary Augment. What would we like to pick up here? Tanking this can work. Burn and Poison. I mean, I'm already doing Poison. Transcendent Relic is still here. Okay, not anymore. This is with healing? Or just go for the Fired Ship, I think? Nah. Gotta go for the Resistances with the healing. Because I have 5 Bulwarks as well, this is gonna be nice. There is Archie. Okay, beautiful. Needed that. And Carablue is already a Caradulo. That part's all fine and dandy. You can take this. And I will have Caradulo focus. Aw, you bugger. The last second move there on the Rake is gonna kill me. My poor little Riptor is gonna get absolutely slaughtered due to that Umber that actually has tankiness rather than full damage. A little bit interesting. Probably gonna come down to a 1 versus 1, my Lynx versus the Rake, which I think in theory the Rake should win. Yeah, it's not even going to be a one-on-one. It's going to be me outnumbered, so yeah. Unfortunate. Back on Twitch, that works all right. Good, good. I'm still very, very healthy. Do I want to push for the level to get to Riptor? It is not Complain picking it up as well. How much does he have? Not many, to be honest. It just happens to have it. I think I'll do one more round. Why do I have a rye? Must have missed that part. Clean up my bench a little bit going into this one. Second round in a row where my Riptor just gets popped immediately, so I'm definitely not positioning properly. And my final two finish this off. No, we're gonna get popped for this. This is mud actually coming out here from Hector, isn't it? 4 mud? Yikes. Okay. Damn, found that very, very fast. I guess it is round 16. Maybe I'm just slow. Yep, 4 mud. Okay, Atlas, we're falling behind on finding you again. 1, 2, next level, I'll level. I was gonna say I wasn't 100% sure of the reference, but that makes sense. That makes sense, yep. We'll get leveled up to 7 after this one, giving me my best possible opportunity to get some of these tier 3 units. The only one currently running Riptorus right now is Not Complain, who is extremely low on the board. Pick up water. Let's get the AoE damage. Let's get the Axon. Water over to you, I suppose. And I think we need to heavily roll to keep ourselves in the game. Really looking for those Riptors. Come on. This is, again, I'm going for something completely different and I end up finding dashes. What is this? I think I need to just straight up. In terms of value, I just gotta do this instead. And I did not set up my Aegis properly yet. I'm a little bit too slow, a little bit focused on other things. Quite content with the tank line that I do end up having. The monk here being alone stuck with me is kind of annoying. Now it's moved over. Now my Umber can free fire. That's better. Very, very close battle. Imagine if I actually had this set up properly. You will be able to do it. There we go. I guess Umber insists on being my partner here today. And I mean, I'll take that. What else do I have that's tier 4 or anything right now? Nothing. Well, now I'm fighting people for dashes then. I'm not finding squat. Brutal. Okay. Let's set up the Ranger properly here. So I'm going to bind you. Toxic Aegis is online. Go something like this. I need to get a fire tank, though, if I remember my mistake from the last game. Not giving my Rake steam was problematic at the end of the game. Is how many... Oh, I just even need just the flare. I don't care about evolving it. I just need a flare. Doing okay for now, but it's not going to hold like this forever. Double squiz. You know what? Actually, no, I want your energy regen. Energy regen, energy regen. Screw it, give you attack damage. Oh no, I can't give you attack damage, you already have a thing. Give you attack damage, why not? Up against the ghost here of Not Complain. Let's see where we stand. I'm immediately going to get my poor Squiz destroyed because I did not see the Umber or the Rake once again. I can't plane my glasses. I just got these things redone. I should be good. One cast actually just destroyed me there, eh? Damn, alright. What is Not Complain's board? Do they even have really anything? No. Well, on the positive end... Oh, actually. Open your eyes, fool! Well, there we go. I opened my eyes to a fantastic opportunity to get another water unit on the board instead. Up against Moonlich. I think I should be able to beat this. Something like that. That way you should still be within range of Archos. Wine's gonna keep my Alfie now protected. Good little shot through the squad. Keeping them nice and low for Rake to pop things off. Glad I saved my economy. I was definitely debating on firing up another level, because Moonlit was level 8, but it seems like in terms of just sheer firepower, we're going to be able to take this one here. And Not Complain still does not have Umber, so that is good. Good for us. Did anybody else go for Umber? Oh, it is just me and Not Complain, eh? Legendary augments on the board once again. Just take of the Alfie, or yeah, let's go for Alfie. We get the one where we burn and poison to stop healing. In instances where we have a runaway Umber or a runaway fighter of some sort, we can stop the Omnivamp. Okay, with finding another Squiz, Octius is going to take priority there. Let's give you some damage. Let's give burn to the Lynx. Stop complaining. I'm not complaining. It leaves us 2 away. Umber is right there. Riptorus is still only there. Oh, there's 2 different Riptoruses. I see. That's where the bottleneck's happening. Percentage. I think it's got to be percent. What are you, supportive? Get ally. Give that to you. Give this to you. You take the percentage. Want him for a little bit. Defense. Are we serious right now? Come on. That is about as annoying as it can get. I just fumbled just trying to move some damn augments. Absolutely potato level gameplay here. Not talking about the settings mode. They'll end up falling. I think we still got this. Come on, Rake. Oh, this is gonna be close. Oh, if I can actually move my units around. Now I'm complaining. No, that was unlucky. Okay, Riptor, come join us now that you have evolved. And I've got a level and a space for you. With all this attack damage, I can actually give it to somebody who likes attack damage. Okay, what is next? Still trying to keep an eye. Not complain. Has 2 dashes. I think I do need to kind of start moving here. They're looking for him. Roll down a little bit. Not going to blow everything, and it is going to end up getting scooped up, so... Frustrating first roll. We'll try again a little bit. Let's see if we can take care of this player here, D from VN. We took care of the Octius. That's a good start. Monarch is going to deliver themselves right in front of me. But again, am I going to get denied here by a Jotun once again? It looks like it. I still haven't found a flare either, which is problematic. I need to get a flare in here. I'm again neglecting the steam aspect of this composition. There's a dash. Just gonna take a parry here just in case. There is the Umber. I need flare now. There you are. Thank goodness. Okay. Which tank do I get rid of in this instance? Either I get rid of this guy here. But no more Aegis. I can free move Umber where I please. Just to get this damage onto somebody so I don't screw this up. And then Umber's going to dive directly into a whole group of them. This is not optimal. Smoke screen, good damage. Are you in front of the beam? You are. My positioning is going to drop me in this one. But we do still have Octius for the time being. Not for long, though. Not complain. Gonna take that one nicely. I need a Flareon, basically. Seriously. Alright. Okay, with Flare here, I can now actually position a little tighter. Brawl. Try to bunker this up in the center. And then just move where I think I see fit. One last roll before I inevitably end up going down. That's a good find. Hop Umber over to the other side. It's going to go right next to Octius. This guy beat me last time, but I actually have decent positioning for once. This is the best that I'm going to be able to get my team to actually do. Can we make this work? Not looking like it so far. I mean, it's a better fight, but it's still not a good fight here for us. We will end up falling again. Rinse and repeats from the last game, it looks like. Right back to 4th. But that is the nature of the game, though. So what happened? You were comfortably in 2nd. So again, I put a lot more, I guess, chips on the board really, really early. Which means, like, I spent a lot of my credits early, rather. So I have a stronger team early. But the problem by doing that means that I'm not collecting interest. I'm not saving all of my credits and then getting, like, richer because of it. Because one way that you can do it is just take the beating early, but then load up your economy. So that later in the game, like a couple rounds before you're going to get eliminated, you can start spending your credits and you have a ton of credits to spend. So you can level up extremely heavily. You can find those really, really good late game units and get a lot of them. Myself, I get greedy in 2 ways. I tend to kind of keep my economy around, say, 30. So I'm not getting the most interest possible, but I'm not full out spending. But let's be honest, right after Doka's every single game, I always roll for Lynxes too. Because I just love having that big power spike. And I just love Lynxes. But by doing that, it leaves me with no money left. So I'm really, really strong for a little while. But then everybody who saved their money caught up and surpassed me. And I don't have the credits to get back into the game. That's why the most of my wins end up happening because I just snowballed so hard early that I was able to kill off everybody rather than having a super, super strong late game team. I definitely need to study more. I'm definitely not the strongest in terms of players, and there's a reason why I don't do guides, per se, on my Illuvium channel. Because I know if you want guides, there's plenty of other players out there that are better to study. I have fun playing, and first and foremost, that's the most important thing for me. Like, should I be rolling for Lynxes every single game? Absolutely not, but do I love doing it? Absolutely. It ends up biting me, but it is cool to see how far we can go with that playstyle, and I have fun doing it. Now that the IPL, or the Illuvium Pro League, now lets us track credits too, it can now let us like really go back into the VODs and like truly study every single game if we really, really wanted to. So that does make things interesting. But it is noon my time, so we'll be on the cooldown lap here. Wrapping things up very, very shortly. Wait. Good day overall. Again, apologies for the Twitch viewers. I don't know why Twitch stopped working there, because my YouTube side and the X side seem to be perfectly fine, and I don't have any drop frames, so I don't know what's up with Twitch here this time. But I do apologize for that. Game plan for the rest of the week for me is going to be another stream happening as per usual on Wednesday morning, same time slot, 10 in the morning till noon. And then we'll have to see what's happening in regards to Friday. There might be a stream, there might not be. We'll have to see. That's usually a bonus slot in case of extra IPL coverage. But for sure, I will see you on the weekend on Illuvium stream, though. IPL 500 once again going to be coming up this weekend. Not sure if we're doing Saturday, Sunday, or if we're doing just Sunday yet. I'll try to let you know on Wednesday's stream. Of course, we're getting to the conclusion of the IPL. We're in the final stretch, the last quarter. I think we have three more events, two more IPL events in terms of, I think, 2 500s and a 1000. Then a final call, and then the finals. Which, again, is still being determined whether or not it's a online or in-person thing. And depending on that will depend on which weekend that is being held on. It was a good time, though. Thank you all again for tuning in. Much appreciated. And of course, if you have not done so already, I think most of you are regulars at this point have already done so. But if there's any newcomers new to the stream, do this pretty consistently. So I'd absolutely love to have you back, whether it's on YouTube with subscribing or following on Twitch. Would love to have you. And we'd love you to be able to do that for me. For YouTube in particular, I'm hoping for the end of December to hit 100 subs. It is going to be tough, but we are damn well going to try and see how we can do. But first and foremost, regardless of the goals, content creation, and all that, I'm just happy to be here in the Illuvium community. So thank you for having me. Very, very blessed to be here and have you all with. Until further ado, until Wednesday, I'll see you later.